Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a little bit more interesting news coming over here when it comes to Mark Cerny and their big deep dive into the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, the PlayStation 6, the future of the console, what's lacking, what's good, what's bad, what's ugly. And I want to kind of go and sit here and talk to you guys all about this as we're kind of just discussing, I guess, the future of the console generation. Now, as you guys have probably had a chance to go and see on the channel itself, we had this big interview and a big seminar, and I upload on the channel itself, so thank you guys all for checking it out. But of course, there's a lot of little bits and pieces we're still kind of covering as of right this second, which actually kind of works out really good too, because we're almost on the very tail end of our basically New Year's vibe. And you guys probably know from the channel, I keep on saying, we have like a little smidgen bit more time. I have about like 10 days or so, and whenever January 1st happens, I'm probably gonna have a little video, kind of give you guys some updates on the channel, and of course, we're gonna take a little bit of a break and then kind of get back in the swing of things once the year kind of starts, because I think I've gone a little bit crazy on the whole YouTube grind. It's been like over 5,000 videos with that day off, but we'll talk about that in a future video. But thankfully, I'm so excited to make awesome videos for you guys in the very near future. So if you guys are gonna be excited too as well, because we're gonna be making some cool stuff, and maybe a little bit less gaming, probably about the same stuff. We'll talk about in the future, but we're gonna have a new editor on the channel. It's gonna be very nice. So if you guys are excited for that, so make sure you guys are subscribe with the notifications on for our PS5 Pro giveaway. Make sure you guys are definitely here with the notifications on. We also have our second YouTube account, which we're about to start doing some streams on most likely, so please go and subscribe on over there for all the giveaway entries. We have the Twitch and the 2 Twitters down below. Just really easy, might as well. It's gonna be drawing really soon, so gonna get your last minute entries on in. And all the affiliate links down below. Let's go dive into the video itself. So as I mentioned, we've been seeing a lot more news on like the GPUs and like ray tracings and AI and everything they want to kind of work on, mainly because Mark Cerny did go and speak on this in a proper video. So I've had a chance to go and like discuss so much different stuff. And they're kind of the ray tracing is a big deal on the PS5 Pro. PSSR, really big deal on the PS5 Pro. And of course, just the future, you want to see all these all intertwined as well. So as we go talk about this, let me get my little monitor capture for you guys. We've now been seeing people kind of dissecting it and seeing the conversation on it. And there was a lot when it came on out. So first and foremost, we made a video on this, I believe, yesterday. Or so I was kind of seeing like what's going to happen with like the tech. We're going to see like the future of like the CPUs and the memory and all that, which everything combined does make a better console overall. But right now they're saying that Sony says the GPU in the PS5 Pro is mostly very old tech, but previews the ray tracing upgrades from the future RDNA4 graphics for PCs. Now, if you guys don't know, they kind of like this is a little bit like a lot of various topics put together into one, but like the future of this is gonna be cool. Like they're basically trying to go once again future-proof for the PlayStation 6, trying to make sure the console still has a lot of technology behind it, and as well, we are seeing upgrades, whether it's for things like ray tracing and optimization and making sure the shadow effects and all that are better, and just a lot of various stuff. I don't know if to even title this video. I'm gonna be future, I'll be honest with you guys, maybe like the future cool technology. I don't know, like we'll have some weird, somewhat clickbait, somewhat realistic. I don't know, I'm always really bad at titles. I'm so sorry if my titles are ever come off bad. But it's just saying the backwards compatibility means the PS5 Pro is also mostly RDNA2, because they've been trying to go tinker around with this RDNA technology, and like there's AMD technology and private stuff, there's so much. Anyway, so the GPU in the hot new PlayStation 5 Pro is mostly pretty old tech, but it does preview the ray tracing upgrades that are coming with AMD's new RDNA4 graphics chips for PC gamers. Now, when it comes to this type of stuff, and I often might have to sneeze over there, when it comes to this stuff over here, sorry about that, it kind of shows that like the PlayStation 5 and the GPUs, etc., are very nice, but AMD has also been making custom still CPUs, GPUs, brand new integrations, and people are kind of curious on what's going to happen. Now, we have also seen some cool technology, mainly the fact that the PS5 Pro does have its own individualized technology, such as the PSSR, but also AMD has also worked on its own integrations. Now, PlayStation's more focused on its own proprietary tech because they want to focus on that, but they also have built that with AMD. First, AMD doing it's like, hey, we're going to make this and offer it to you. It's more PlayStation is saying, we're going to make our own PlayStation hardware, and then you can help us with it if you want. AMD kind of pulling the power move. So saying that's on the lowdown from the same PS5 Pro deep dive that was also revealed Sony went on its own way with AI hardware in the console rather than using AMD's technology. So as I mentioned, when it comes to all this technology over here, AMD itself could have basically been like, no, we're going to go make something for you guys. You guys are going to pay us for every console. PlayStation was like, nah, we're Sony. We're going to make our own cool stuff. So Sony's lead architect for its PlayStation consoles, Mark Cerny, has explained that the GPU in the PS5 Pro is still actually RDNA2 based at its core, just like the original PS5. And the reason for that is straightforward. For the compatibility between the two consoles themselves. Now, as you guys know, the PlayStation 5 and PS5 Pro are very similar. The only big difference is the slightly better GPU and the PSSR technology, which is also kind of an on-off switch, and you do have to have a proper patch for an obligation for it. But overall, the console itself is very similar. Same CPU, very similar kind of core set, and overall the internals are pretty much the same. Now, say a PS4 to PS5 though is slightly different, similar but still pretty separate. So basically, saying by largely carrying over the RDNA2 technology for the shaders in the PS5 Pro's GPU, game developers can compile a single code path and have it run on both the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. Basically, trying to make it a little bit more on the simplistic side. Basically saying like, hey, like instead of having 3 different types of things we have to go and code on for, we just basically have one and have just basically being very similar, then integrate things like the PSSR and other various upgrades into the PS5 Pro. They're saying, though, however, the PS5 Pro is, though, not identical. The base technology for the PS5 Pro is somewhere between the RDNA2 and RDNA3, Cerny says. For starters, while the shaders are RDNA2, parts of the geometry pipeline are for RDNA3. Basically saying it's like right in the middle ground. Like I think they even send this article, it's like a RDNA 2.5. And although, as technology develops more, this is kind of like them trying to have like that middle ground. That same idea of them kind of have this weird midway. As I mentioned, like you can mostly use it for the PS5 and mostly use it for the PS5 Pro. I believe they want to have this almost mid-tier refresher as well to make it so the technology for it to be a PS6 too as well as that same boat. Or it could be a PS5, PS5 Pro, but it also could be the PS6 and trying to kind of somewhat sharing that same, I guess, pipeline at the end of the day, or at least having that at the baseline to make it able to go bump a little bit more, which I think is smart. So the PS5 Pro is not identical as they mentioned because the base is slightly different. So those geometry pipeline elements are faster, but essentially invisible to a game engine though. You can use the same code on both consoles, but it will simply run better on the PS5 Pro, which would make sense though, because the technology is better, the AI is better, the integrations are better, the CPU, GPU, and basically memory is all better, and overall the console itself is just a slightly better console on the PS5 Pro. So those geometry pipeline elements are faster, but like I said, also essentially invisible. However, had Sony gone for, say, the doubled up floating point math compatibility from RDNA 3, that would require 2 code paths to be compiled, one for the PS5 and one for the PS5 Pro. That wasn't a burden Sony wanted to put into their game devs for what is a mid-life refresh rather than a properly new console generation. So as you're trying to go and say over here too, they could have picked and choose, they could have went a little bit more hardcore, but they decided not to have the ease for the developers. And you guys can kind of see the hybrid RDNA GPU over here, basically using the same technology when also focusing a little bit more on the basically ray tracing too as well. So from the PC gaming perspective, is the most intriguing aspect of the PS5 Pro's GPU involves ray tracing. Cerny says the upgraded ray tracing hardware is sourced from future RD, it's basically saying it's like future-proofing the ray tracing. Cerny is non-specific, but he is clear that this technology is showing up first in the PS5 Pro and is not even currently available in any other AMD chip, which is once again offering unique technology that no one has. And on top of that too, it's probably going to help out for machine learning and AI because PlayStation's going to get a bajillion millions of consoles of information, which would be very good for the PlayStation 6 as well. So given we're expecting the RDNA4 to be replaced by an architecture-based CDNA, that really only leaves RDNA4, which is a big upgrade either way. So he goes into some detail regarding the upgrades. You can watch the video for the full details as we cover if it's on the channel if you guys want to watch it ourselves. But the short version involves doubling up the BVH performance and adding new stack management hardware. The BVH performance boost gives broad-based improvements in ray tracing performance, while the new stack management engine particularly helps with complex reflections. So interesting to kind of note over here. So what impact does this have on performance, they go and say? Saying it's difficult to quote an exact speed up because it's very dependent on specifics of usage. But we commonly see the calculations of the rays occurring at double or triple the speed of PlayStation 5, Cerny says. However, that performance boost includes the simple impact of having a 67% larger and more complex GPU in the PS5 versus the PS5 Pro versus the PS5. Cerny reckons that alone tends to translate into a real performance boost of around 45% as we kind of saw in the first place. So basically, this is like some high-level stuff saying, hey, they are future-proofing the console. They're making sure the technology in this unique AMD AI technology, ray tracing, whatever, is actually optimized specifically only for consoles and not even for PC, and it's kind of AMD's buddy-buddy vibe. So bearing in mind, Sony is claiming ray tracing is typically around 100 to 200% faster on the PS5 Pro. And it's clear that the bulk of the improvement is architectural rather than simply a consequence of adding 67% more functional units. That bodes pretty well for RDNA 4 GPUs. Basically saying like if you're going to be using this future technology, whether it's for the Pro is optimized or just in the future PS6, it'll be very, very nice too as well because they are kind of weak. Basically saying that ray tracing is kind of rough on AMD and way better on say like NVIDIA. At the same time, they also are still bolstering up their own technology, which will be really good as well. So Intel's new B580 GPU has a pretty decent ray tracing throughout, but it's NVIDIA that's in the lead based on the improved ray tracing on the PS5 Pro. We'd expect AMD to close most, if perhaps not all, the gap to NVIDIA. Of course, NVIDIA will also have its own GPU architecture arriving early in the new year alongside AMD's RDNA 4, known as Blackwell, which we've actually heard a bit about so far in the new 5000 series coming soon. It'll be branded RTX 500 series or 50 series. It will no doubt bring its own ray tracing boost too as well, although at that point it kind of shows that AMD might still be in a disadvantage as we go through all this technology. But either way, they still have their own individualized custom technology that is at least better for consoles in comparison to the Xbox first that. Although on PC, NVIDIA will probably have a slightly better run through because NVIDIA is like the god tier company right now for GPU and AI, but it's still intriguing to go and see that AMD is still pushing above this. So either way, I have no idea what the hell they title this video because it's just a bunch of random information, but the high level is ray tracing is pretty good on PS5 Pro. Their individualized AMD technology is also pretty good, and it does kind of seem like they're trying to go and streamline up really cool, easy integrations from the PS6, from the PS5 Pro based on their current technology, and it seems like they kind of pre-planned for it, which is going pretty good. So give me your thoughts and comments on all that down a little bit of an info blast, basically just saying the consoles are cool and future-proofed as well, which is nice. So subscribe here for the PS5 Pro giveaway, the second YouTube account, the Twitters and Twitches down below, all the various links as well for all the affiliate links too, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.